Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today. Comcast thinks that MSNBC, CNBC, USA, and other networks are doing nothing to help Peacock. That's why he wants to get rid of them, according to Comcast CEO. Disney's laying off a bunch of its staff at its cable TV networks and ABC News. We'll break that down. And AT&T wants to sell DirecTV because it thinks it will help it hit its financial goals for 2024 and beyond. These stories and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First though, if you're new here, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here, so they recommend our videos to more people. Also, if you want to find out more about any of the stories I'm about to talk about, please hit this, check out the first pinned comment or the show description. I'll put a link to each story we talk about there, and there's a lot today to cover. All right, let's jump into it. So Comcast CEO Brian Roberts was at the Morgan Stanley Technology, Media, and Telecom Conference. That's a bit of a mouthful this week, and talked a little bit about its plans to spin off a bunch of its cable companies outside of the main company into an independent company. And he said the reason they picked the networks they did, because remember, Bravo and NBC will remain with Comcast. All the others are going to be spun out. The Golf Channel, Sci-Fi, USA, etc. MSNBC, CNBC are all being spun off. He said because they're not helping Peacock. And because they're not helping Peacock, he wants to get rid of them. He wants to focus on things that he thinks bring benefit to Peacock and get rid of the stuff that does not. And that means spinning these off. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. For example, once they spin these networks off, what about the sports content on USA? Will they try to pull that back? What will the Golf Channel's relationship be to NBC going forward? What about MSNBC to NBC News and CNBC? It'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. Now, that's hoped to be done sometime later this year, but Comcast CEO doesn't see much of a benefit to these networks in the long run. I view this much like AT&T viewed DirecTV. 10 years ago now, roughly, DirecTV was sold to AT&T. AT&T had this big vision that they would bundle that with their wireless plans and grow both their wireless plans and DirecTV. What it turned out to be was a dead weight on the company. And AT&T's new CEO came in, so the CEO who bought it left, a new one came in, and effectively said, no matter how great our wireless is and our landlines and our fiber, etc., we're always being pulled down by the dead weight of these media companies that I don't want. So he merged Warner Brothers over with Discovery, and he spun off into an independent company that AT&T still for now owns part of, DirecTV, into an independent company, allowing him to take it off the books. Now he's fully selling that to TPG, an investment group there that will now own 100% of it, unless they sell part of it to somebody else with this deal. Now with all this, AT&T said, we just want it off the books. And I think that's what that's what Comcast is doing here. Comcast is saying, we want these networks off the books. We feel that there's no future, they're dead weight, they're hurting the rest of the company, so we're going to get rid of them. Some talk that Warner Brothers Discovery may be doing something similar soon. They are spinning off their, separating their cable networks from their studios and other ventures, like its streaming platform. Could we be seeing them dump their cable networks like Comcast is soon? We'll see. But we'll keep a close eye on this. What do you think? What's your thoughts on Comcast dumping these networks? Let me know. All right, AT&T, speaking of them, says they want to get rid of the DirecTV because it'll help them finish their goals. Kind of continuing this little story here. I apologize. AT&T says they hope to get about $7.6 billion from DirecTV's sale from now through 2029. Now, a lot of that will come this year, but a lot of it will be in phases over the next few years as they go through all this. We'll have to keep a very close eye on this. With it, we're seeing that Comcast is saying, hey, we're getting this off, we want to get rid of it. Now AT&T is doing the same thing because they don't see a benefit to it anymore, even as a spun-off company. They would rather just sell it and get rid of it. Be interesting to see, though, if this has helped them hit their goals, how do they continue to hit their financial goals after this is gone? In 2029, when the money stops coming in, what does that mean? What does it mean for DirecTV with TPG? Now, they've been very aggressive, making smaller TV packages and making some big changes. Don't count DirecTV out. I think they're doing some good stuff over there. But it's going to be interesting to see once AT&T, who now is the majority owner, completely walks away from it. Will TPG operate it differently? They've been in the control and position of it for some time. But now that they're completely free of the shackles of AT&T, will that result in any different treatment of the company? We'll have to keep a close eye on this and see what happens. I'll let you know once we find out. All right, next story up. Disney is laying off about 200 staff across its cable TV networks and ABC News. Now, this comes as a growing number of cable TV networks have been seeing staff layoffs. Paramount did a ton. Warner Brothers Discovery just did some. And now the Walt Disney Company is doing it. Now, this is primarily according to a report from the Wall Street Journal, first hitting FX and Freeform very hard, but I suspect they'll see at least a few layoffs across the board everywhere as they cut back. One big thing is you're seeing cuts at ABC News that are resulting in, for example, Good Morning America, some of the leadership that oversaw it, getting some cuts. There will now be one person overseeing all the hours of Good Morning America, where they used to kind of split it up into different segments for supervision. Layoffs are not new at Disney. They had a big round the last few years ago, cutting back on staff. Now they are once again doing it, this time targeting except the whole company, very specific to its cable networks. There's been a lot of talk about Disney also maybe spinning off some cable networks. There's been different rumors about possible deal with A&E networks or AMC networks, I can't remember which one, spinning some of their cable networks off there, or just shutting down a few. Not everything, don't get me wrong, but they do have a lot of networks. You know, we've seen big drops in viewership on some of their children's networks. Freeform and others have seen substantial drops. With them moving people more and more to Disney Plus, it would not surprise me at all if that became a reality, and they did make some cuts there. For now, though, they are just laying off some staff. We'll see what happens over the next year. Disney, at the time of this recording, has not officially announced it. The Wall Street Journal broke this as happening, with announcements happening as soon as March 5th, so yesterday from when I'm posting this. But when I'm recording it, the night before, it has not been made official, at least to my knowledge. All right, next story up. ESPN and Major League Baseball have agreed that after this season, Sunday night baseball on ESPN will come to an end. And with this, Disney's kind of reportedly not interested in the price that Major League Baseball wants. And now there's reports that NBC could be interested in a deal to bring Major League Baseball to NBC on Sunday nights. Now, there is some interesting how that necessarily, is there any overlap during, for example, the fall? There could be a couple weeks with NFL maybe? I don't know. Somebody leave me a comment. Do you think that would be a conflict there? Check your schedules. Let me know. I would assume that NBC would rather have Sunday night football there than Saturday night for those few weeks. But for most of the MLB season, that conflict wouldn't be there. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Currently, bidding is just happening, but according to a report from Front Office Sports, NBC Universal is reaching out, interested. Of course, the exact term of the deals will be important to see if they actually follow through on it. All right, next up, Sesame Street. Still without a home, Sesame Street is now laying off some staff as they try to find a new network. Long paired with PBS, Sesame Street is actually independent from it and has, for the last few years, been airing its content on Max. That contract ended, and Max decided not to renew it, leaving Sesame Street without a home. Now, they are getting ready to start their next season, the 56th season of Sesame Street production, without a home. And because of that, amid the changes and the lack of revenue that come with a TV deal, they are making some cutbacks on the staffing for this. Be interesting to see how this plays out. Where will Sesame Street go? You'd think there'd be a lot of companies bidding to be the new home of Sesame Street, a lot of streaming services and other networks that may be interested in it. But at the time of this recording, it's been a while since Max announced it's not renewing its contract to extend its time with Sesame Street, and no new deal has been reached. I was kind of expecting a very quick, Max dropped it, a few weeks later we find out about another one. Hasn't happened yet. Be interesting to see. Maybe the high cost of Sesame Street, reportedly not a cheap endeavor, not crazy expensive as some of the other productions. the price tag may be still holding them back from streaming services who are much more conscious about the price of content as they try to become profitable and stay profitable in 2024. All right, next up, if you are a rural internet customer in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, and other areas, you may have found yourself without internet. There's 600 customers in rural America right now who suddenly lost their broadband internet service as their parent company, Consolidated Communications, or Tail Runner Broadband Internet, has accused Consolidated Communications of a billing issue that's cut off their customers from internet. This is leaving many customers stuck in the middle now for weeks without internet as the two companies fight it out over a bill there that apparently is unpaid or not paid to the two sides can't come to an agreement on. That's resulted in a bunch of internet customers being left out. Anybody in our group impacted by this? I know 600 is not a lot. The story really struck me because it is one of those things. You can find yourself, there was an ISP in Louisiana a couple years ago that one fall afternoon just shut down its cable TV, cable internet, and cable phone service without warning its customers. They just came home from work and their TV didn't work, their internet didn't work, and their phone didn't work. The company went completely out of business without warning. In this day and age that we're stuck and very reliant on internet, that's a huge issue. Let me know if you know somebody who's impacted by this. I'd love to talk to them. You can use the contact us over at cordcuttersnews.com to reach out to us. All right, and last up, YouTube is reportedly, according to the information, getting ready for a major redo of its TV apps. Now, not YouTube TV. I saw some people talk about that. This was YouTube TV. No, this is regular old-fashioned YouTube, not YouTube TV here. It's going to get a redo and what they call a Netflix-style experience to hopefully get you to use YouTube more often. YouTube is one of the most watched streaming services ever, and it's rivaling cable companies for hours out there in viewership across the world. But they are hoping to improve their TV experience app, as now YouTube says, I apologize, it takes me a long time to set this up, and because of that, the timer kicked off. YouTube says the number one way people watch TV now is YouTube is on TVs. And because of that, they want to refresh the app and make it more Netflix-like to keep you engaged, keep you watching series of shows, keep you watching content you're interested in, help you discover new content on your TV to keep you engaged and watching those ads with that. And then that also brings us to our last story up of the day. YouTube now has a cheaper way to go ad-free and still support the creators you like. They now have a $7.99 a month plan that gives you unlimited viewing on YouTube ad-free. This is YouTube Premium Lite. It does not include the music service. Standard YouTube Premium also includes the music streaming service, YouTube Music. This does not include it. But if you're, use Apple Music, Amazon, Spotify, whatever, and you don't care about YouTube Music, this is a cheaper way to get it. I pay for YouTube Premium Family, honestly, because I have a 12-year-old who likes to watch YouTube Kids, and I like that she gets an ad-free experience through this. And I honestly enjoy the ad-free YouTube also. But keep a close eye on this. It's interesting to see them trying to become more competitive. It's rolling out in the United States over the next few weeks. You may be offered it, you may not yet. And it'll be rolling out across the world, also in different parts of the world. Well, that's it for today. I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm still on crutches. Thanks for hanging out here with me. It's not even been a week since my hip surgery. But we're making it do. Thanks for all the kind words. I'll see you all tomorrow with another video.